The following is a presentation of the Best Station. The views and comments made in the following program do not necessarily represent the views and comments of the Best Station. Welcome everyone to show 4 of the Fast Pitch, and I'm your co-host MC Brown.
And I am Eric Linneberg.
Welcome once again. We are back, and we want to thank you all for listening. And real quick, we just want to plug our Twitter at the Fast Pitch MLB, and also Facebook.com/the Fast Pitch, which could also be found under our parent station, Facebook.com/the Best Station. And we want to thank once again our producer and friend Craig Best. Craig Best, thank you very much. And it would not be possible without Craig Best. So thank you, sir. Thank all of you for listening. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments on anything we've talked about in previous shows, this show, of course, coming up, you can tweet us at any time or send any messages. And just to prove that we do get these, we actually have some. And we got some social media goodness for you right here. So a lot of these seem to be directed towards you.
And I'm not sure why that is, other than people are taking shots at me for some reason.
Yeah, I've had some rumblings, like people saying, are you a real doctor? But you also respond with the obvious doctor of baseball.
Doctor of baseball knowledge, that's right.
There you go. So, yeah, I don't think I have to say that again. But, hey, if you want to tweet and question his doctor, then by all means do that. But I'm going to go to the first one right now. And these are, again, a lot of these keyboard warriors, let's call them, they don't tweet this where we can retweet it. These are actual messages that I receive.
Yes.
And we receive, I should say. And what happens is a lot of these people like to jab at you a little bit. They like to come at you. And our first one, let's get right to it here. At J. Croce West 57 says, will the Dodgers ever consummate a deal without pulling out?
That's a good question because they have pulled out quite a bit this offseason.
Yes,
I believe they will. There's still some free agents out there, so hopefully they will.
Let's bring them up to speed. They've had a couple ones, especially one that actually just happened recently, fresh off the news. Their deal with the
Reds and Todd Frazier. And I heard it was a done deal, Frazier going to the Dodgers for 3 prospects, but it didn't turn out that way.
It actually turned into a 3-team deal, which we will discuss in a winter meetings, but I'm talking about the Iwakuma deal.
Yeah, Iwakuma. Hitoshi Iwakuma of the Mariners signed with the Dodgers, and then just today, a few hours ago, the Dodgers rejected the deal, and he is now a free agent again.
So he didn't pass a physical, I hear.
That's what I heard, too.
So that might still work, though. I've heard that they may still get a deal done. It just might not be under the original terms.
Right.
So that and a Arnoldus Chapman deal also. And that was some sad, unfortunate dealings. We can't really comment too much on it because there's just allegations at this point. That's another deal that fell through. So they're taking a little jab at your Dodgers there.
Okay, that's fine. Do that.
Yeah.
Dodgers will be back in the World Series next year, so...
Well, I'm handling some of the tweets. Why don't you handle a Facebook message for us here, sir?
Okay, I had a Facebook message from PJM in Campbell, California.
Okay.
Who says, she's starting to enjoy the show. We aren't baseball geeks anymore.
Okay.
And listen to this one. I just love that Eric Linneberg's voice.
Wow. Oh, so you have some... This is a female we're talking about, right?
Apparently so,
okay,
yes.
All right. So she's hitting on you. I don't want to say he, she. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. The second tweet I have here is from Godfrey Sedona Heat 98. That's a long name.
Yes, it is.
Miller Granke, give us the ring now, you Dodger homer. So obviously he's not talking to me. I'm not a Dodger fan.
I'm not a homer of any team, but
that's crazy. What a accusation! These people are just firing out verbal insults at you. What a ridiculous.
Well, it is, especially Greinke, who should have won the Cy Young Award this year, the season he had, but he's gone. He's with the Diamondbacks.
And he's talking about Shelby Miller, of course.
Yes.
who is also now a Diamondback.
Yeah, he'll be the number 2 starter there.
Yeah, that was a fresh trade that we discussed last show, and going too much. Yeah, we actually went into detail with that. So, yeah, we don't have our season type of, in review, but obviously they'll be in top consideration for favorites to win the National League West.
Right, and I have one other Facebook message I got.
Okay.
And this regards our show with Jim Campanis Jr. last week,
great.
the guest show. Blonde Bombshell from Tempe, Arizona, says that she learned more from Jim Campanis than she's ever known about baseball.
Wow, look at that. And we want to thank Jim. He was our first guest. That was our last show. And you can find these on both YouTube as well as on Facebook.com/TheBestStation, Facebook.com/TheFastPitch. We are promoting these like crazy, so we're getting a lot of likes. We're getting a lot of feedback, obviously, by our responses here today. It just keeps rolling, so please share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on whatever social media platform you have. Please keep plugging it away, because without you guys, we don't actually do this show.
No, we wouldn't be sitting here just talking amongst ourselves.
That's right. So we're going to get into, obviously we're going to be doing show 5 is another guest-centric show, and we want to plug that real quick, and we'll do so again near the end of the show, but we're going to be talking with a very, very special guest. And why don't you tell us about him?
Jason Himmelstein, an analyst for ESPN, done a lot of work in baseball. He's a knowledgeable baseball man, and Jason will be joining us from Phoenix, Arizona tonight.
Nice. And we're going to be talking about stuff like the Hall of Fame travesties. It's a very important hot topic, because we had also had the Hall of Fame voting, but we also there's a lot of names missing from the Hall of Fame, so we're going to ask Jason about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of names missing that will surprise you. Really.
Yeah. Safety in baseball is another topic we're hoping to discuss with him, as well as the Pete Rose decision this week. And we're not going to get too heavy into it this show. Obviously, its decision was rendered by the Commissioner of Baseball, and we're going to discuss it a little more in depth with Mr.
Jason,
Himmelstein, coming up soon. So we're looking forward to that. So definitely we'll plug that again at the end of the show, and we look forward to talking to Jason, and that show will drop very soon as well.
Yes.
So we're going to get into, we got 66 days till spring training, but we also had some important things going down. The winter meetings finalized
this has been
this
a
week.
busier winter for baseball than I've seen in many, many years.
Yes.
A lot of activity.
A lot of activity. We also had the Rule 5 draft finish up with, we had Tyler Goodall, I think.
Tyler Goodall.
Yes. So he went number 1, I believe this was from the Phillies, drafting him away from the Tampa Bay Rays. So that was the first pick. We had some other big names in the minor leagues. Jake Cave taken by the Reds from the New York Yankees. The Braves at 3 took Evan, I don't know how you say that name, Rutschke, I think. Rutschke, yeah, okay, from the Yankees as well. So Yankees losing some players, right? Two of the first 3 picks, Yankees, and they're not a team really known for a strong minor league system right now.
No, they're not.
Yeah, so they can't afford to lose any more guys, but they also traded a couple they traded one young player, I should say, to the Cubs, in that Castro deal.
Yes, Adam Warren.
To the Cubs, and that was actually a deal that just consummated on our last show too. So, so we'll see what the Yankees have in store. Obviously, it's not going to be with those 2 minor leaguers.
Right, they're gone.
Right now, they are.
Yeah.
And discuss the rules of the Rule 5 draft, if you will, just for our kind of novice listeners, if they.
Players taken in the Rule 5 draft, if they don't make the major league team by opening day, they return to the team they were drafted from.
For how much?
$25,000.
$25,000. So yes, they have to be offered back. Otherwise, the team, if they don't want them back, they
become free agents.
Yeah. But yeah, if they won't, they're going to get them back. It's going to cost them $25,000 to get them back. But that's very interesting. And in the Rule 5, we wanted to go over a couple of popular names, and just to show you that player taken in the Rule 5 draft could become someone special.
Could become a star.
Some of the top names, just off the cuff that we're bringing here, Josh Hamilton was a Rule 5 draft.
Josh Hamilton.
And he was taken by the Cubs from the Rays in 2006. Then he was traded.
He was
traded to the Reds.
That's right, where his career began to blossom.
There you go. Look at this name here. Johan Santana, taken in 1999 by the Marlins from the Astros. And what happened again? He was also traded to the Twins.
That's right, where he had enjoyed a stellar career for a few years.
Exactly. So we have a couple other names just to touch on real quick. So moving on, Dan Uggla.
Dan Uggla had a great career with the Braves for a while. He played for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yes, he did.
Power hitter.
Shane Victorino.
Shane Victorino, of course, needs no introduction. Long career. He is a fast base runner. In fact, I heard last year one of his teammates said, Shane runs the half hour in 29 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were just some of the big names in the Rule 5 draft. So it's names to keep your eye on, obviously, from this year. We can't go into the entire Rule 5 draft, but we can tell you that you never know if a gem might be found in this.
That's right.
And that's why teams do this. They looking to fill some holes. They might find a young player who might otherwise be stuck in the minor leagues or from a AAA. I know there's a AAA phase that they take AA players. So it goes level by level.
Right.
If you draft a player from a lower level, he has to remain on the team and basically for the season. Otherwise, he has to be offered back. And that's drafting from one level lower. They could draft him from the major league phase. They could draft him from AA. But basically, that's what it is. He has to stay on the major league roster the entire year. And that could be tricky. Because if you're building a championship team, you're taking up a roster spot, that guy has to produce.
Right.
So very important there. It's a Rule 5. But we have some big news. Post-winter meetings, just to touch on some things. Jason Heyward is now a Chicago Cub.
He leaves the Cardinals for a team in the same division, and I have to believe the Cubs, with the deals they've made here, are going for broke next year.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely, I believe, I don't know if the Vegas odds are showing them as the favorites, but I would certainly, and that's strange to say with the Cubs, but Heyward definitely brings a big bat, on base percentage, his glove, just everything, the tools of this player. And the Cubs paid hefty price for him, but I believe they believe in him, and he's, believe it or not, I believe he's the same age as Anthony Rizzo.
Yes,
so he's not an old man by any means. So if I'm not mistaken, he's 25, 26
years old.
So yeah, he's definitely going to bring. He still brings youth to the Cubs, and he brings a big bat. So that's some big news, huge news as far as I think outside of Zobrist. I think he was the next big bats, and the Cubs just collecting big bats. They need some pitching, but they did sign Lackey, but. We also had, speaking of pitching, we had Johnny Cueto signing.
Johnny Cueto signs with the San Francisco Giants, and here again, pitching has dominated the free agent signings this year. The Dodgers were in the hunt for Johnny Cueto, and once again they lost out. And Dodger fans very concerned because you have Clayton Kershaw, and then who is the next starter for them? We don't know.
No, and that's the thing with the Iwakuma deal falling through. We certainly don't even know how the Dodgers are going to fill out their rotation at this point. And speaking of those same Dodgers we touched on at the beginning, they're involved in that 3-team deal with the White Sox.
Yes, and originally that was reported that the Dodgers and Reds made a deal, Frazier going to the Dodgers for 3 prospects, but the whole thing, the rug fell out from under it, and the White Sox got involved, and they got Frazier.
So yeah, he now solidifies third base for the White Sox, who now can put Brett Lawrie at second base, who is another free agent signing of the White Sox. Or actually, I believe they traded. Yeah, excuse me, stand corrected. They traded with the Oakland A's for Brett Lawrie. So now he mans second base, and Todd Frazier is the third baseman. So it's some White Sox doing some moves too. They're the South Side. Not to be outdone by the Cubs.
That's right.
Maybe on a little smaller deal, but you never know.
And the White Sox have been in the World Series in this century, and we can't say that for the Cubs, obviously.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, Chicago is a big sports town, so I don't think either team wants to finish like they have in the past few years. I mean, the Cubs done better, obviously, this past year, but. Yeah, certainly. We're going to round out with just a few more names really quick before we head to our break. But we got just some other minor news. We got Denard Span working out for some teams. Obviously, he's I think a good, solid bat that's on the market.
And he's very underrated, in my opinion. Very overlooked. He played for Washington and had a couple injuries, but he's a great player.
I think he's definitely high average steals, great D in center field.
Right.
So he may sign with, the Dodgers are looking at him. The Cubs were named before, but I think the Cubs would have to move somebody to clear a spot.
Yeah, and the Dodgers have a center fielder, Jock Peterson. Right now, Puig is still penciled in as a right fielder. We don't know if he'll still be with them. Andre Ethier really came off the bench last year and did a great job for the Dodgers, but I don't believe he'll be back.
Yeah, we still remains to be seen. A lot of stuff in flux. The Mets re-signed Bartolo Colon. The Rockies signed Mark Reynolds.
Mark Reynolds.
Is he on his 31st team, maybe?
Something like that, and he still continues to shoot for that Major League strikeout record.
I cannot believe, if we're looking at Reynolds on the Rockies, how many homers he could be capable
in Coors
of
Field,
hitting.
there's no telling. Let me go back to Cologne for a second.
Yeah.
I remember Bartolo Colon pitching well in the 80s. Now, what is he doing still in Major League Baseball?
Unbelievable. You'd have to be looking at this would be, he's pitching into 4 decades.
Right.
Yeah, which is no easy task to maintain that longevity in baseball. So, yeah, hats off to Bartolo Colon. He got another contract with the Mets. The Braves signed Tyler Flowers as their other catcher to go with A.J. Pierzynski. The Indians, besides signing Mike Napoli earlier in the week, they recently signed, how do you say his Rajai Davis? Rajai Davis. So, yeah, some, not as I don't think big as news we had last week, but definitely some happenings post-winter meetings. And certainly, I think a lot of these deals were probably, where the groundwork was laid at the.
Right. I remember Yoenis Cespedes is still out there, so we still have some big names out there.
Oh, yeah. We got Chris Davis still on the market. I think most of the big pitchers are off, but, yeah, there's still some big names to be had. I think Daniel Murphy's still out there, too, and Justin Upton as well.
Justin Upton, right.
So, yeah, certainly we're still going to have some things to talk about, in the next couple shows, I think, for sure. We're going to be heading to a station break soon to pay the bills, but I'm going to have one of our famous segments coming up here, and that is the Who Am I segment. Before we go to the break, we've got a few clues, so I'm going to read them off to great fans out there and see if you can guess before we do the reveal. So test your little baseball knowledge here and with some trivia. So we're going to go right to it. And then we'll be back. So here it is. Who am I? I am a Canadian-born player who played for the Phillies, Cubs, Rangers, and Red Sox. I share a retired number with a Cubs legend and Cy Young Award winner, first ballot Hall of Famer. And with that former pitcher and 2 other pitchers, I am one of 4 Major League Baseball players to pitch over 3,000 strikeouts with fewer than 1,000 walks.
That is amazing.
Who am I? This is obviously a very impressive pitcher. So, who am I? We'll find out after a station break. We're going to pay the bills right now.
With a name like the best station, it has to be good.
Don't let this happen to you. Introducing all natural creatine. Take a look at the pictures. The results don't lie. In just 1 week, go from pumping 2.5 pounders to this. Never cheat yourself again.
If it wasn't for creatine, I'd still be on that bed.
Guys, can I get a little help over here?
Creatine is made of all natural supplements and fairly priced at $39.99 at your local GNC store.
Creatine.
Side effects may include nausea, heartburn, cramping, acne, and in some rare cases, blindness.
Be sure to attend the grand opening of Zach Greinke's Snake Burgers, 12 Phoenix locations, including at the Chase Field swimming pool. And on Tuesdays, Greinke's Happy Hour will include $1 Cy Young draft beers.
And we're back. And we have the Who Am I reveal. Dr. Eric. Who am I? This person's birthday was December 13th, 1942. None other than Hall of Famer and Cy Young Award winner Ferguson Jenkins.
Ferguson Jenkins, man, what a consistent pitcher so many years. And, you know, I saw Ferguson during spring training this year. Took a photo of him, and
Yes.
you saw the picture.
I did, and this is something we're going to have to pressure you to share on the Fast Pitch Show.
Yeah, I guess I will. He
You're
was
gonna
not
have
happy, I know that.
He did not look happy, and I don't know if you snuck a picture of him, but Ferguson Jenkins looked like he was giving you a death
I was right in front of him. The thing is, as soon as I turned the camera off, I made a beeline for the Brewers media room because I didn't want to be seen.
Certainly, if he threw a fastball, even at his age, he probably could have knocked you out.
Yes, he could have.
I think so. So yeah, if he does not share this within the couple days of you listening to the show, fans, we want you to badger Mr. Lenneberg and tell him I want to see this Ferguson Jenkins photo because he has it. And he needs to put it on the wall. So we're going to pressure him. So if he doesn't put it on there, make sure that you tweet him. You send a message. And, of course, the tweets can be sent to @TheFastPitchMLB, Facebook.com/TheFastPitch. And, hey, and if you want to go to Facebook.com/TheBestStation, tell Craig Best. Say, get on Craig Best and say, Craig, hey, can you let Eric know we want to see this picture?
I'll see if I still have it.
So hopefully we do. So I think he does. So, yeah, we're going to get into a couple other things, too. Just real question. Speaking of, Speaking of social media, we got our social media question of the week, and this is what we want you fans to let us know. I mean, that's regarding lawsuits in baseball. Whose side are you on? And I've had some passionate off-the-air discussions with some fans, with some friends. We had a couple lawsuits. One of them involving Jonathan Papelbon of the Washington Nationals currently. And he's suing the team for his 4 days of missed pay, and that's regarding...
That's regarding him choking Bryce Harper, first getting into an argument, then jumping on him and choking him in the dugout on national TV. It was on camera.
Makes it all the more worse. And I think his argument is there's no precedent set for suspending players without pay in this such a fashion. So, I mean, does he have a point? We want to hear from you guys. Certainly, are you on his side? Do you think he should still get those 4 days of pay? Or which would be what, 4 160 seconds fraction, 4 160 seconds of pay? Or do you think, hey, you were out of line, accept the punishment, and accept that, I guess, as your fine?
Yeah, he was out of line, all right. I've never seen any behavior like that on camera before. You know, it happens in the clubhouse and things like that, but to do that also to your superstar who won the National League Most Valuable Player Award, asking for trouble. I'm surprised they didn't get rid of him sooner after that.
I'm shocked that they wouldn't do more of a character eval before trading for these guys.
That's right.
Because the fact that happened is ridiculous. But, involving one of your star players out in the open, what an embarrassment in a disappointing season for the Washington Nationals that would just,
And Papelbon exacerbated that by, before the incident even happened, they were in the pennant race when they acquired him. They said, he'll be our closer, he'll help us get there. They lost 12 games in the standings after signing him.
That's terrible, and I think if you look at, wasn't Drew Storm doing a
Drew Storm was doing a good job.
Yeah, what a shame. But that's the breaks. Obviously, we've seen a lot of collapses in baseball. I can go back to my own Cubbies in 1969. They had a healthy lead over the New York Mets, but they blame it on the black cat. Right?
That's right.
Unfortunately. But the other lawsuits, get right on it. We have both Mikael Franco of the Philadelphia Phillies and Chris Bryant of the Chicago Cubs suing, I believe, their respective ball clubs for service time manipulation.
Yes.
And explain that to us a little bit, Dr. Eric.
Both players believe they were kept in the minors this season for a certain period of time so they would not be eligible for free agency sooner.
And they have I think, some pretty good arguments. I've had discussions. I know what side I am. I think this is probably going to be our controversial topic of the week, as, if it's still not decided, by then we still want to talk to it further. We'd like to talk to other people on it, too, just because we know where we stand on it. But
right, and I believe both players have a valid point. However, what I don't want to see happen is this become a trend. I mean, Corey Seager was brought up by the Dodgers for the September race. He did a great job, by the way. But way back as early as June, as you know, people were clamoring for him to be called up to the Dodgers. They didn't do it till the end of the season. So is Corey Seager going to take this kind of step? That's what I hope is avoided.
And the fans, let's get this straight, the fans are not the general managers.
No,
you know,
right.
And a lot of these decisions are made baseball reasons. They're always going to be argued for that. But on the same token, you have these players who believe that they've earned this spot in spring training. And a lot of us, I know I'm going to look at the Cubs situation and looking at not just from a fan, but like on a business perspective. Mike Olt was out.
Right.
He was injured. They didn't have really a capable replacement for him. And here's Chris Bryant tearing up the spring training, tearing up the Cactus League. His bat. Now, obviously, their argument, hey, he needed to work on some defensive things, and we're not Theo Epstein, we're not Jed Hoyer. But you know, here's this man who's tearing it up, who seemingly should have earned a spot onto the team, and he's sent down, you know, and then he is brought up. What, it was 11 days later.
11 days later, and he went on to win the National League Rookie of the Year award unanimously, and he deserved it.
And obviously he's probably going to be right up there in discussion for, I believe, what is the Super 2, which will allow you to get arbitration quicker, I believe the rule, but still, I mean, if you're Chris Bryant, his free agency is delayed from 2020. He would have been a free agent if he would have started the year with the Cubs to 2021. So here's what the deal with this is: they want that year of free agency back. Basically, they feel the team manipulated the service time to doing that. Now, an arbitrator's probably going to have to rule on it. But whose side are you on? And that's the main thing. We're asking you fans because we want to hear from you. We don't have a call-in show, obviously, but we want to hear.
Not yet.
We have the tweets, we've got the messages, and in time we will. But we can get somebody on the horn on one of these shows and discuss it.
Right.
We want to hear from you. Let us know. And again, we can't plug it enough. At the Fast Pitch MLB, Facebook.com/the Fast Pitch. We have gotten a lot of feedback already, but we want more, so we want to hear from you guys. And that being kind of a hot topic with some fans, we're going to go into another one, which we kind of stirred the pot a little bit. Dr. Eric made a post himself, and he had kind of threw this out there, and we had a lot of
I had a bombardment of comments on this one.
And why don't you tell us what the controversial topic of the week is?
Okay, as I pointed out today on Facebook, early in the season, the 2016 season, Ichiro Suzuki of the Miami Marlins will get his 3,000th hit. Almost simultaneously, his total of hits as a major league player in America and Japan will pass the record held by Pete Rose. That is what I stated. And immediately I started getting comments from people. Bill Hall, right off the bat, said, "I love Ichiro, but no way should those hits be combined."
Well, last I checked, the Japanese league, didn't count as major league stats.
It's a major league.
Well, it's a major league in Japan, but it's not Major League Baseball. So, I mean,
but if you watch
a precedent that, it opens up a lot of.
Okay, look at the Japanese. Look at Team Japan in the Olympics, Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic, where I was their American announcer 2 seasons. They won. They won those things. People like Ichiro are stellar players.
But where do you draw the line here? What are we supposed to go back to the Dominican Republic and get stickball stats from some young players in there? Are we supposed to go back? What about the players of yesteryear? They obviously played in many leagues too as well before they reached the major league. So,
well, again, that's minor league they played. That's college they played. We're talking about Japanese Major League
Baseball,
and American Major League Baseball.
Well, it's Major League Baseball. This is the league we're discussing. So, obviously, there's no conjunction. You have to bid for players from these other leagues,
just like you have to buy free agents here.
So I mean, here's the thing: like, why are these? I mean, he's and take nothing away from Ichiro. Obviously, he's a heck of a hitter, but I don't believe that those hits should count.
Okay, you don't, and yet Ray Noriega, who commented on Facebook today, Ray has been in Japan. He spent 3 years there. He saw Japanese baseball many, many times. He adamantly agrees with me. Those hits should count. And a couple things. The baseball in Japan is smaller than the baseball used in America. What does that tell you as a hitter? It's harder to hit.
What's going to happen here is that, last I checked, our Major League Baseball rules, your service time starts when you're called up to the major as far as your major league hits. what are we going to do? Count their minor league hits too?
No, and that's
so. I mean, that's the thing. And
Bob Yost commented that. Do we count the minor league hits? Because if we do, it puts Rose up to 4,500, 4,600.
That's still hits, though. There's still hits that they acquired because you're still saying, hey, Ichiro still had hits in Japan.
He did. He won batting titles 4 years in a row there.
Same caliber of players in the major league. It is what it is. Are you going to tell me every single Japanese baseball player is the same caliber player of a Clayton Kershaw?
No, but we don't know because most of them stay there.
Well,
only a few come to America.
We can only judge the major leagues, and that's what the hits.
Not only that.
saying how many hits he's had over the course of his life.
He had 1,278 over there, and he'll have 3,000 here.
Well, and that's unfortunate they won't count, but he was playing.
Well, they should count. Now, the other thing is you mentioned...
You can count them, but the Major League Baseball is not going to.
You mentioned Ichiro's a great hitter. You and I saw him play. Okay. I saw him play for many years when I was announcing for the Mariners.
Yeah.
I say he's not just a great hitter. He was a fielder. He had an arm like you wouldn't believe. He stole bases. He was the most valuable player in Rookie of the Year the same year, 2001.
Count all of his assists from Japan, too.
Oh, we can do that. We can do that.
So, there's an argument either way, and this is the thing that we've opened up. So this is another topic that we want to hear from all the fans out.
Okay, now
where do you stand?
One more comment I had was from Jason Seiler, who played professional baseball. I know Jason.
All right.
He chimed in that during his time, if you played in the minor leagues, you got hits. If you played in the major leagues, you got hits. They're never combined, and he agrees with you, Mark.
Yeah, and again, to repeat this, as we wrap this portion of the show up, this takes nothing away from Ichiro. I don't think this is just a healthy debate we're having. Ichiro is a legendary hitter in Japan as well as in the Major League Baseball. I don't think anybody can argue that.
No, he holds a single-season hits record, and that was amazing. He was on pace to get 300 hits that year.
And just incredible baseball player. So, but we want to hear from you guys. What do you guys have to say? I know this discussion happened on Facebook in kind of a dark corner of the Eric Lenneberg universe, but we want to open it up to all the Fast Pitch listeners out there. Bring it to the Fast Pitch page, and let's kind of just hash this out and see. Healthy, and respectful.
Respectful, yes. And I want to thank Ray Noriega, Bob Yost, Bill Hall, and Jason Seiler for chiming in.
Yes, very cool. So please, any day, and if you have a question, if you have a hot topic, or if you have a suggestion, please bring it to the Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter. Please bring it to the Facebook.com/the Fast Pitch. We have a thread that you can start anything healthy and respectful. Right. Please bring it to our attention.
Fire it at us.
We would love to discuss it on a future show. So we are about to head to our second station break here, and we just want to tease. We got a couple things lined up when we return. We're going to be doing This Week in Baseball. We're also going to be doing a quick discussion on topic for FFT, our Fantasy Fan Talk, and then we're obviously going to be closing out the show with a tease of our guest, Jason Himmelstein. So that's going to be great. So please stay with us. We're just going to pay the bills here, and we will be right back.
All right, we are back, and it's time for This Week in Baseball.
Hello, folks. We are back now. We're going to take a trip down memory lane for this week's This Week in Baseball. And we got some good ones lined up for you, folks. Just to take you back, our first one, 1964. This Week in Baseball. The Yankees fire longtime television and radio voice Mel Allen. Yes, look at this. This well-known broadcaster popularized the going, gone home run call and often said, "How about that?" to describe happenings on the ball field. Obviously, the MC of This Week in Baseball himself. What a horrible thing. He was fired in 1964 in This Week in Baseball. Not a good time for Mr. Mel Allen, but I think he bounced back pretty well.
He did. Mel, one of my heroes and one of the people I try to follow the way he announced.
Yes, Mel, by no means disparaging him at all. We obviously went on to host This Week in Baseball for many years, which we pay homage to on this segment here. We're going to fast forward a little bit all the way to 1980, where unless contracts are tended to certain veterans by today, the basic agreement requires the players must be allowed to become free agents. And look at this team. The Red Sox will miss this deadline and look at these names, permitting All-Stars Fred Lynn and Carlton Fisk to be eligible for free agency.
That's right, and they went on to play for Fred Lynn for the Angels, Carlton Fisk for the White Sox. Fred Lynn helped lead the Angels just 2 years later to that American League Championship Series.
Very disappointing for the Red Sox to lose such prominent players there, so definitely not a good time for the Boston Red Sox there. Fast forward 10 years later, 1990, the National League announces the 6 finalist cities for the 2 1993 expansion teams. The locations? They include Buffalo, Denver, Miami, Orlando, Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Washington, D.C. And guess there's actually 3 teams that have Major League Baseball teams from there right now.
Right, Colorado, Miami, and Washington, D.C.
Actually, that would be 4 because we got the Tampa
Bay Devil Rays.
So Denver, right. Actually, yeah. So we got Colorado, Miami, and Tampa and Washington. So yeah. So how about Orlando and Buffalo and make that round?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Can't see fans in Buffalo rushing to the stadium when it's snowing in May.
Yeah, that might make it a little bit difficult. And we got going to 2002, and this is going to tie into our Japanese connection here. And this could be debatable too in itself, but let's just say Japan's most heralded player, 28-year-old outfield slugger Hideki Matsui, who at the time had batted .334, 50 home runs, 107 RBIs for Japanese baseball.
Japanese Major League Baseball.
Reaches a preliminary agreement with the Yankees on a $21 million 3-year contract. Godzilla, as he was called, the 3-time most valuable player of Japan's Central League, rejected the Yomiuri Giants' $33 million 4-year offer, opting to play for the Bronx Bombers.
And he joined the Bronx Bombers and was a key player in their World Championship team.
Indeed. And that was a big acquisition for the Yankees there. Big, huge bat. 2005, and this ties into, kind of into our Pete Rose discussion that we'll be discussing with Jason Himmelstein, in the next show. Well, it ties in name only to Pete, but 2005, the bat Pete Rose used to hit his 159th career home run in 1985 is acquired by GoldenPalace.com for $103,631.91 during Legends Winter 2005 auction. The online casino, infamous for placing winning bids for the Dallas Grassy Knoll fence and the Virgin Mary grilled cheese sandwich, plans to raise money for charity by sawing the bat in half to determine if the bat is corked, as is widely believed. And I'm going to ask you, Doctor of Baseball, was it corked?
I was told it was, and I don't know why Pete Rose would need that. But you know something? Ichiro Suzuki never used a corked bat, so if Pete Rose did, a lot of his hits should be taken away.
Well, I would like to think that you have ulterior motives for that discussion.
I never have ulterior motives, as you know.
Yeah. So we got our final one here in 2007, and this is another comedic one. Jonathan Papelbon's Bulldog ate the ball used to record the final out of 2007 World Series. According to the Red Sox closer during an interview with the Hattiesburg American, teammate Jason Varitek had given the ball to the reliever when Rockies pinch hitter Seth Smith struck out to complete the Fall Classic sweep of Colorado.
You know, it's interesting that what happens to these baseballs when the Red Sox win the World Series. We talked about Doug Minkiewicz a couple of weeks ago. Man.
Yeah, that's another funny story. And we had a couple names that resurfaced twice. We got Pete Rose, we got Jonathan Papelbon.
So all right, Papelbon,
wow. We planned this stuff out.
You would think so, but no.
So we're going to wrap this up here shortly with just a real quick segment on our FFT. You ready for a quick cup of FFT here?
Yes, I am.
Fantasy Fan Talk. And we are going to continue our social media questions real quick as we wrap this show up. Keepers or redraft league? What's your choice?
Keepers or redraft league? I lean towards a redraft league, and partly for personal reasons.
Yeah.
If we were in a keeper league last year, the league you and I were in, I was going to keep 3 guys that ended up being injured and not having good years.
There you go. So it would have been a mistake. But in an argument of the keepers, it's like building dynasty leagues. I think this is for the people who are hungry, who like to say, hey, outside of the redraft, let's see if you can, how you do as an owner, building the team around young players.
Right, and now if I had Clayton Kershaw, Bryce Harper, and Mike Trout on my team, I'd be arguing for a keeper
I
league.
believe you would be, but the deal is, what's your choice? As fans of fantasy baseball, hopefully we have at least a handful of listeners that are like myself and Eric that play this game. What's your preference? Would you like to play in a keeper league where you're kind of building your dynasty, or do you like the unpredictable nature of the redraft? And I think that's what's exciting. Everybody's at play in a redraft league. Anybody can be drafted. Your placement, what you're going to draft, isn't going to be determined by your finish, although some leagues will do that as well. It's going to be random. And do you like the random nature, or do you like the planned dynasty keeper league? So we want to know from you guys. And again, in our final plug here, let us know at Twitter at TheFastPitchMLB, Facebook.com/TheFastPitch. Start a thread, start a discussion. We can do these, but we want you guys out there too. So send us messages too, and we'll discuss on the show. And before we wrap it up with our tease for Show 5, we also want to thank once again Craig Best and Facebook.com/TheBestStation. Please like that page, like our page, follow us on Twitter, let us know, and please thank Craig Best, like his page, and he's the one that's allowing us to be here, so all you great fans can listen to us.
Right, and his last name, Best, no accident. It coincides with him being, in my opinion, the best engineer in the business.
The best station, and that's no coincidence. So we're going to wrap this show up. Dr. Eric's going to tease our guest here that we will be recording shortly, and you will also be hearing shortly, both on Craig's YouTube page, which we'll be also plugging here in the future as well, or please go to our at the Fast Pitch MLB, where you can follow a link there too, and we'll share it with you. And tell us about our guest.
All right, Jason Himmelstein will be joining us, ESPN analyst, has many years experience in baseball, not only as a coach in the major leagues, coach of young players, and he is very passionate about that. Jason has done a lot of voice work and impressions. He's just a great guy all around, and he'll be joining us.
Looking forward to talking to him. Looking forward to actually meet him for the first time. So that's going to be our Show 5. So we're going to wrap up Show 4. I'm your co-host, MC Brown.
I am Eric Lenneberg.
And thank you very much again for joining us on The Fast Pitch. So stay tuned, folks. Show 5 will be coming up soon with our esteemed guest, and we can't wait to hear from your tweets, from your messages, and keep sending them, keep liking the pages, and we'll be back with you guys shortly with another show, so please stay tuned.
Okay.
Thanks again.
And fans, have a pleasant evening and a pleasant week wherever you may be.
Wherever and however you may be listening to it. Have a good morning, evening, or whatever. Thank you again.
Second